Once risks are identified, analysed and evaluated, the appropriate risk treatment should be applied. An organisation might prefer to retain a risk if it is inevitable, unavoidable, or lies within the accepted risk tolerance level. The risk tolerance and risk appetite of an organisation will therefore have an impact on the risk treatment. Risk treatment involves a range of processes including the formulation and selection of risk treatments, the implementation of the required action for each risk, an assessment of residual risk, determining further controls if the residual risk is still too high, assessing the effectiveness of the risk treatment in the long term. Risk treatment is a step within the risk management process that follows the risk assessment step. Within the risk assessment, all the risks have to be identified and risks that are not acceptable must be selected. The main task within the risk treatment step is to select one or more options for treating each unacceptable risk, i.e., decide how to mitigate all these risks. The risk treatment plan is the point at which the theory ends and the reality begins. A good risk assessment and risk treatment process will produce a very usable action plan for the project that addresses risk. It is important that planned risk responses are appropriate to the importance of the risk, cost-effective in meeting the challenge, realistic within the project context, approved by all parties involved, and owned by a responsible person. There are 4 possible strategies for handling threats or risks: avoid, transfer, mitigate, or accept. The avoid strategy involves acting to either reduce the probability of the risk and/or reduce its impact to zero. This enables the risk to be removed entirely. The transfer strategy involves transferring the risk to a third party. This strategy does not eliminate the risk, it simply transfers the liability to some other person. This can be done by taking out insurance. The insurance firm is now liable. Or having the work done under a fixed price contract. The contractor is now liable. The mitigate strategy involves taking early action to address the probability of a risk occurring. This process is put in place when it is more effective to address the risk than trying to repair the damage after it's occurred. And finally, accept, which is the most common strategy and involves accepting that a risk is apparent and determining a contingency plan to handle the risk. This contingency may include time and money. Acceptance of risk is typically chosen because the risk is low in terms of impact or probability, or the cost and effort of taking the necessary action is out of proportion to the risk itself.